Okay, so picture this. You just published your video ranking the top 20 songs of the winter, and literally the next day you need to evacuate your home because your city is on fire and you can see the flames within a mile of your building, and then once all that gets settled, you immediately need to go do your final thesis project for grad school, only to realize that your team decided to shoot the entire thing in 8K resolution without your knowledge, which of course leads to a full week of crashes and system failures as you desperately try to set your basic project up, and then when you do set it up, you realize your main actors have gone wildly off script and ad-libbed half their lines in Armenian, a language which, incidentally, you do not speak, all of which creates a Kafkaesque nightmare of delays and scheduling issues which leave you in a constant state of saturated stress and anxiety as you work 12 to 16-hour days with no time off for a month straight, all while constantly being battered by the news, which you know you can't tune out since most of your closest friends are in vulnerable minority groups, leading to overall one of the most unbearable and agonizing stretches of times you can remember in your entire life, and during that entire time, pop music does fucking nothing. Look, guys, I'm really sorry that part 2 of the worst list isn't out yet. I'm only prioritizing this one because the 3 or so free days I need to make it is literally all that I have right now, and quite frankly, I don't think the pop music of spring 2025 is gonna take that long to discuss. Living in America right now actually literally feels like a nightmare that it's impossible to wake up from, so I suppose it's no surprise that the pop music scene of 2025 so far has basically refused to form an identity of its own, and instead it's pretty much just been 2024's victory lap. A few minor new hits here and there, but even more flops than that, and mostly just a holding pattern of last year's biggest hits sticking onto the charts like barnacles, while a few other songs that bubbled up slowly over last year finally hit their peak. It's a weaker season for pop music than winter was, but really not by that much. I already said everything I have to say about this shitty-ass Gracie Abrams song last time, and just like last time, this is the only big hit right now that I actively dislike. Or at least I really wish it was. Am I old now?
Anxiety, keep on trying me. I feel it quietly, trying to silence me.
I saw a lot of people in the comment section under this song saying, "Oh, so that's where this sample is from. I knew I recognized it from somewhere." And no, get out. Get out right now. If you did not recognize what was happening within the first 5 seconds of hearing this song, you are officially too young to be alive and you need to fucking leave.
Solo, no mojo, I bounce back, no pogo, unhappy, no homo.
I was upset when I heard this song, and I was fucking scared. Doechii is one of the most promising up-and-coming rappers we have. Did she actually sell out again in the exact same way as last time, right at the peak of her hype? Then I did my research and found out that this was actually a freestyle Doechii made back in 2019 before she got signed, which was then sampled in a Sleepy Hollow song a couple years later before both songs were randomly discovered by TikTok and went viral earlier this month. That made me breathe a huge sigh of relief, to the point where I actually started enjoying the song a little bit. That didn't last.
Is my anxiety.
Look, no disrespect to Doechii, I love her, I'm glad she's getting her big crossover moment right now, but that doesn't change the fact that this song is nothing more than a high schooler fucking around and trying to work out her vibe on her first EP. The beat to Somebody That I Used to Know is way too singular and weird to work as a raw sample like this. While Doechii's skills are present in their primordial form, she really does not do a great job matching the structure of her rapping to the natural flow of this song's beat. And most damning of all, I did try listening to this song when I was feeling anxious, and hearing this chorus... Yeah, sorry, but this chorus is the sound of all-encompassing anxiety, and not in a cool way, not in a cathartic way, but in an I am now overstimulated and want to move away from whatever is making that sound kind of way. I get why this is a hit, I'm sure it's gonna stick around, but please, for the love of God, do not let shit like this be Doechii's future.
Bad bitches only, ain't no mediocre. Don't want no mediocre. I won't hit no mediocre.
Oh my God, this is still here? Why? I've talked about this before, but if you've been watching my channel over the past few years, you've had a front row seat to watch me, a weird nerdy white dude from Rhode Island, train myself in real time to understand trap music. In fact, a lot of trap is now among my favorite popular art of the last decade, and even most of the ones I don't love, I at least get the appeal of. I get Future. I get X, I get Thugger and Uzi and Bobby Shmurda and so many others in this game, but goddammit, Playboi Carti is still my white whale. I mean, you've got a really cool intro that sounds like you're literally floating on a hazy wave of pure culture, and it lasts for all of 30 seconds before...
is Nintendo Sound Clock Alarmo.
Spin on the block, have a pussy nigga stay.
Sorry, I don't get it. Not for lack of trying, though. Okay, so I gave Music by Playboi Carti a full listen before making this video, and combining that with my previous knowledge of his work, I've come to the conclusion that the main appeal of Playboi Carti is that he's an alien.
I'm an alien off that Mali, I see stars, I see space.
Yeah, just an alien. He's a freak of nature who doesn't have to play by the laws of music, logic, and quite possibly space-time and physics.
Cardo, my evil twin. Cardi, my evil twin.
So, yeah, Playboi Carti is an alien. And as such, he gives his collaborators permission to be fellow aliens alongside him, just throwing a bunch of different weird voices and fragmented production choices together and mixing them all up in an oil drum to see if the resulting fumes are something worth inhaling. The issue is that I always walk away from Carti's music asking myself the same question. Okay, to what end, though? Like, I see all these cool musical choices you're making, and I grant you, they are cool, but what are you trying to say with them? What are you trying to accomplish? What do you want me to take away from this? It's legitimately impressive that you're crazy enough to try to combine these ingredients, but what is the final product supposed to taste like? Like, it's fascinating to observe and study the techniques being used in the construction, but eventually I do just want to enjoy the end result, and with Carti, I never feel that satisfaction. With all of that said,
Shawty gon' let me crush it. Shawty gon' let me crush it.
okay, yeah, that's a good bit. I like that.
They say the holy water's watered down, and this town's lost its faith. Our colors will fade.
So if you weren't aware, there's this trend on TikTok of younger Gen Z kids making fun of what they call millennial core music.
We are young. There's a fire in our soul.
It's a good bit, and yeah, I agree. That whole fun Lumineers, Mumford & Sons scene does seem pretty silly now in a world where the phrase excited for the future has become an oxymoron. All I'm saying is don't get too smug, kids. You're clearly not above handing success to something that sounds like Imagine Dragons doing an open mic night at a Portland burger house that sells overpriced fries in metal baskets.
Found something so wild of the ordinary. You got me kissing the ground of your sanctuary.
Alex Warren is one of the original TikTok hype house guys who decided to follow housemate Addison Rae into the pop scene, and for a guy who lists Shawn Mendes and David Kushner as his primary influences, I'm quite frankly shocked this wound up with as solid a hook and melody as it did. Still, though, this is a song that I feel no desire to listen to, primarily because I'm well aware that I'll be hearing it on wild radios against my will for at least the next 18 months or so. This song has already hit #1 in the UK because, well, yeah, of course it fucking did. This is the exact kind of flannel, Old Spice commercial core shit that British audiences love, American radio loves even more, and that American audiences have definitely been known to go along with from time to time. I will say that I do like the hook on this one a fair bit. The idea of basing a love song on the phrase "you're out of the ordinary" with that giant choral swell behind it, I mean, it does paint a picture. There's an idea there. I'd take it over that damn stargazing song any day of the week. I see why this is a hit, but I was done with this after one listen, which is not good considering how many more listens I'm certain are in my future, whether I want them or not. Look, I'll be honest with you guys, this next song is probably the most interesting one in this countdown, but I'm not gonna lie, the fact that I'm even talking about it I think says way more about how dead pop music is right now than just about anything else. Yep, that's right. Spotify is so starved for new music right now that cult alternative prog metal band Sleep Token had one of the biggest songs of the week I looked at. Granted, the song has fallen outside the top 20 in the time it took me to make this video, but another Sleep Token song immediately took its place, so yeah, this is apparently just something we're doing now. And man, I really wish that we weren't. I'm not gonna front, I feel completely outside my element here. If you've seen my Grab Bag Reviews series, you know that I am capable of engaging with and even appreciating metal. But man, something about this one rubbed me the wrong way pretty immediately. Yeah, well done, guys. You definitely don't sound like you're spouting out a bunch of edgelord nonsense for your fans to argue about ingenious annotations while co-opting an embarrassing drill flow for an obvious crossover play. Not whatsoever. Yeah, okay, that's probably unfair. I mean, this band does have a cult following, and apparently they're big into genre mashing. I mean, maybe they could go pop. Let's see. Have they ever tried their hand at any actual pop music before?
If you've got it, oh, if you've got it, but got it, just don't get on, there's nothing at all.
Are you fucking kidding me? Oh my god, fuck this. Miss me with your Callum Scott bullshit, bro. Look, I'm not gonna judge Emergence by Sleep Token too hard, it's not my genre, but my gut tells me that if it was my genre, I'd be significantly more embarrassed by it than I am right now.
Baby, why don't you just meet me in the middle? 'Cause you ain't gotta tell me, it's just in my nature, so take it like a taker. 'Cause baby, I'm a giver.
The Giver by Chappell Roan is a Shania Twain-inspired country song about lesbian topping. That is fucking awesome. And quite frankly, my appreciation for this song does not extend that much further than its elevator pitch.
Ain't got antlers on my walls, but I sure don't mating calls from the stars and the bars on a Friday night.
Yeah, I don't know, man. All of Chappell Roan's big hits so far have just been something really special, and this song feels like it was made from a very special recipe, but just not left in the oven for long enough. I really hate to say it, but when I first heard this song, one of the first comparisons that popped into my head was Blah 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 by Kesha. Like, yes, well done. You have done a successful job in mocking the misogynistic bluster and bravado of your scene, while also being kind of overwrought and cloying in a way that really does not incentivize me to return. I put your pitchforks down. Clearly this isn't anywhere near as bad as Blah 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 by Kesha. It's several orders of magnitude less annoying, and Chappell's lyrical jabs are far sharper, but in trying to mock bro country cliches, Chappell and Dan Nigro have fallen into kind of the same trap of making a song that's so barrel-chested and forceful that it sort of forgets to have a satisfying melody.
Ain't no country boy quitter. I get the job done. I get the job done.
Sorry, y'all. I really wanted to love this song, but quite frankly, it just goes in one ear and out the other for me, leaving me with no impression other than, damn, Chappell Roan is awesome. I think I'll go listen to one of her good songs about being a lesbian goddess now. I can definitely see the audience for this song, and I do think it's decent off the strength of its concept alone. It's not bad. But at the same time, the fact that this debuted at number 5 on the Hot 100, and then immediately dropped like a rock as Pink Pony Club took its place, I do think that says something.
Pay the toll to the angels, drawing circles in the clouds.
You know, I imagine that the arrival of Doechii and Chappell Roan and all the other big drama kid pop stars of the 2020s, that must be really nice for Lady Gaga. I mean, after years of the charts being dominated by carefully made up Instagram models who were too cool to make pop music too crazy, Lady Gaga finally has proper insurance that her legacy and impact are secure. You know, that ostentatious for the gays pop music is going to be fine with or without her. That is exactly what I hear in Abracadabra. It's Lady Gaga saying, okay, enough pushing the envelope, time to mail that shit.
Abracadabra, amor,
Abracadabra, amor unana, abracadabra, morda ugaga, indeed. Your legacy is an awesome toy that you've built, Joanne, and it looks like you're having a great time playing with it, even if I'm personally a bit more interested in music made by people with something to prove. Case in point.
Take your jeans, take mine off me. Oh, golly gee.
Oh, Tate McRae wants to be her so badly. She wants to be her so badly, and she is simply just not her, is what I would have said a year ago, but goddamn, I'm not gonna lie, Tate McRae's nuclear determination to be her at all costs is kinda starting to trick me.
Boy, don't make me choose. I think you know what this is. I think you wanna. No, you ain't got no misses. I'll bet you got a sports car.
I mean, hey, the numbers don't lie. Tate McRae's album is literally having more staying power on the chart than The Weeknd's. Tate McRae wants eyes on her, she is fucking getting them, and yeah, I understand why. I mean, it's obvious what she's trying to do here, right?
It's Britney,
You know, the schoolgirl outfit is still what most people think of when they think of Britney Spears, but the late 2000s and early 2010s, you know, the Leave Britney Alone era, that was actually when Britney had the most success on the pop charts. It seems like that corporate try-hard with nothing to lose era is what Tate is trying to replicate. You know, kind of like how NF became one of the biggest white rappers of all time by mimicking recovery-era Eminem. It seems that copying an artist in their least beloved but most commercially successful era yields pretty equivalent results. If there's one thing that will end up turning Tate McRae into the icon she wants to be, it's that her balance between confidence and try-hard is exactly where it needs to be. Like, it takes an insane level of control to hit a level that feels this perfectly, sure-footedly desperate. She's got real big pussycat doll energy in that way, and just the same then as now, these kinds of tracks are just not everybody's cup of tea. At the end of the day, whether or not you like this is going to come entirely down to whether you appreciate the target Tate is aiming at. But I think it's pretty undeniable that on Sports Cars, she hit that target with a perfect bullseye. I might not love this track, but I do respect it a lot, and that is a shocking development in the Tate McRae story as far as I'm concerned. And on the subject of shocking developments in the stories of Canadian artists,
Who's calling that shit? Who's calling that shit? Who's calling that shit? Who's calling that shit? Who?
Okay, so we all knew this was gonna happen, right? I mean, I'm sure we were hoping it wouldn't be this soon, but surely y'all weren't naive enough to think that Drake would literally never have a hit again, right? I mean, the facts don't lie. People like Drake with the melodies, and I don't think it's a coincidence that he made an entire album full of melodic love songs, that every song from that album where he even fainted at being a tough guy instantly bricked, and that the one song sticking around is basically just the TikTok version of Mambo No. 5.
Is it Stacy? Is it Becky?
I like Angela, Pamela, Sandra, and Rita.
Is it Keisha? Is it Anthony?
Guys, come on. It's called Nokia. This song is literally named after a piece of outdated tech decades past its prime, only notable for being bafflingly indestructible, which people only ever liked because it played a silly little melody. Nokia by Drake is not a hit because it's badass or cool or because anyone actually likes the man who made it. It's a hit because of this.
Baby girl, let me see you do your dance, let me see you twirl. Shake an ass in the club with your homegirls.
And let's be real, this song belongs to producer Elcan more than it does Drake. He's the one doing all the backing vocals. He's the one who came up with this incessantly catchy beat and all the vocal hooks layered over it. Shout out to him for actually sneaking the Nokia ringtone into the beat itself.
So if you just playing around, you need to tell your girl, take a fine ass home, and that's real.
I've seen a lot of people saying that this song bodes well for Drake's future, but frankly, I'm not that worried. Drake is not Kendrick. He's not a guy people listen to because they care about what he has to say. Kendrick might not have killed Drake's career, but what he did kill was Drake's invincibility. Drake is now, and for the rest of his life will be, one bop-free album away from complete and total irrelevance. And it just so happens that the bop-free album was not this one. I certainly would have preferred to live in the alternative timeline where Kendrick actually eradicated Drake completely, but that was obviously never going to happen. So you know what? I will gladly embrace the outcome where Drake shrinks from industry titan to just another run-of-the-mill hitmaker, giving off big cuck energy as he makes his goofy little TikTok dances and stays in his fucking lane.
Debí tirar más fotos de cuando te tuve. Debí darte más besos.
So am I the only one who sees the name DTMF and gets confused that this is a song off of Brat? No? Just me? No. Okay. Well, yeah, really wacky that even Bad Bunny is struggling to get a foothold in the current pop scene. I mean, we could use a surge of his energy now more than ever. I honestly can't believe we live in a world where the big new Bad Bunny single is being outlasted on the charts by fucking Sailor Song. Oh, and speaking of...
In the Navy, yes, you can sail the 7 seas. In the Navy.
This world were mine.
Hey, Roman numeral 7, babe, drop it like it's hot. This world was mine, I take your dreams and make them multiply.
The song is still as great as ever, and I clearly like it a lot. But man, the blockbuster success of Luther is one of the funniest things to happen to pop music in quite a long time. I mean, not only is it hysterical that so little has happened in pop music that we're still riding high off of the Super Bowl halftime show from 3 fucking months ago, but do you remember how this song was presented in that show?
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
That's what America wants. Nice and calm.
Yeah, Kendrick literally presented Luther as the safe, pretty option that the man was glad you were listening to instead of the more dangerous, threatening stuff, and then the song immediately proceeded to outchart all of that threatening stuff and stay at number 1 for 2 months straight to become Kendrick's biggest hit of all time. Is that ironic? Unsettling? A sign of the times in any way, good or bad? Probably. Still a good song one way or the other. Not unlike.
Hey.
What's that on that beat? Nope.
Turn his TV off, turn his TV off. Turn his TV off, turn his TV off. Turn his TV off, turn his TV off.
I can't remember the last time we had a song this big, this good, and with this little to discuss about it. TV Off is literally just not like us if you removed all the shots at Drake and replaced them with a beat that goes about twice as hard. It's an iconic, generation-defining jam whose message is basically just get up, stand up for your rights, get up, stand up, don't give up the fight. You know, just with a little extra bit of... Oh man. Remember when DJ Mustard used to be terrible at his job? That was pretty funny.
I wanna hold you just for a while and die with a smile.
Die with a Smile by Lady Gaga and Bruno Mars is one of the best pop songs we've had in years. It's going to go down as a defining song of the 2020s, and I am ready for it to leave now. Honestly, it's not even that I'm sick of this song. I'm not whatsoever. I just really don't want it to be the year-end #1 song of 2025. Like, how fucking boring would that be? I mean, a tasteful ballad from last August made by 2 legacy artists which has been sticking around purely because nothing else is happening. Thing is, I honestly don't see what beats it at this point. As horrifying as this is to think about, the chart year is already nearly halfway done and we're running out of time. Luther has a chance if it sticks around, but right now the most likely contender I'm seeing is something from the new Morgan Wallen album about to drop. And considering how that album is shaping up...
There's a lot of reasons I ain't Jesus, but the main one is that I ain't coming back.
Yeah, we're gonna need an act of God. Or maybe... an act of gay?
Down at the Pink Pony Club, I'm gonna keep on dancing at the Pink Pony Club.
Okay, so am I crazy for wanting this to somehow stick around for long enough to take the year-end #1? Really? I mean, it's already hit #1 in the UK, it's hitting a new peak on the American charts, it's got insane sleeper hit energy behind it. We're just one final push away from this becoming the bona fide song of the summer. I mean, it was already the song of last summer, well, you know, at least for cool people.
What song defined the summer for you?
Pink Pony Club, Chapel Roan.
But let's be real, this song deserves to be fucking everywhere. If you go to the comment section under this song, you'll see comments from countless people saying that their conservative parents cry whenever they hear this song. This is a song that Pavlov's its listeners into identifying with the struggles of the disenfranchised, and I cannot possibly overstate just how badly we need that right now. I'm not gonna lie, the fact that this is #4 on this list is literal bad luck. I legitimately couldn't decide on the order of the top 4, so I actually put the top 4 into a randomizer to determine the order that appear on this list. And this is the one that unfortunately drew the short stick, just behind...
Maybe the night that my dreams might let me know all the stars are cool, so all the stars are cool, so all the stars are close.
Okay, so after I'm done with worst and best lists for 2010, 11, and 12, I plan on combining all of my retro 2010s worst lists together into a big decade-end extravaganza. That's obviously not going to happen for a little while, but I'm not going to lie, I'm a little miffed that now I need to give away one of my biggest surprises for that list, which is that the more time goes on, the more I think that All the Stars is actually one of the best hit songs of the 2010s. I think I'll save the bulk of my analysis on it for a later date, since, let's be real, this song is not a 2025 hit. It's only here because literally nothing else has happened to replace the lingering hype of the Super Bowl yet. All I'll say is this: an immaculate, grandiose soundscape of black beauty and excellence echoing in through the ether and transcending you to a plane of wondrous awe at the proud legacy of your people and the strength coursing through your veins as you fend off those who might be inclined to try and minimize or take that away from you. Yeah, that hits the fucking spot right now. I'm not at all surprised that Kendrick picked this for the Super Bowl, nor am I surprised with the staying power it's had in this particular climate. And on that note...
Hey, I'm tripping, I'm sliding, I'm riding through the back like fuck. Mustard on a beat, bro, any rap, he a freak, though, man down, color ember lamps. tell him breathe.
You know, I got a little bit of shit in that last video where I talked about Luther and 30 for 30 through the lens of Kendrick still taking shots at Drake. Some people got mad at me for even bringing it up since they were so sick of hearing about the Kendrick-Drake beef. Well, I hate to break it to you, but clearly the general public isn't sick of hearing about it yet, because oh, would you look at that? Kendrick broke the record for the longest span of time a song has ever spent topping the chart without leaving, with a full 9 months between the song debuting at #1 upon release and then returning to #1 after the Super Bowl.
Trying to strike a chord and it's probably A minor.
Honestly, at this point, I'm a little bit torn on whether this song actually got big because people were sick of Drake or if it's mostly just because it's a fucking awesome banger that people love, but I don't really care either way. To me, this is another Old Town Road situation. Like, it doesn't matter the exact reason why it became so massive. That initial boost it got by turning into a statement against institutional racism is part of its DNA. And much like Old Town Road, Not Like Us carries the fuck you Drake DNA with it wherever it goes, and it has gone fucking everywhere. Not Like Us is the greatest musical event of both 2024 and 2025, though in my humble opinion, not the best pop song of 2025.
What's up, Doechii?
Hey, girl.
You know, it's been a little minute since you and I have had a chat.
Has it really?
Probably since, like, your last EP, All the Places You'll Go.
Oh, wow. It's been a minute. Yeah.
Did I mention that drama kids are running pop music again? Did I talk about how fucking wonderful that is?
Why don't you just tell me what's been going on?
Okay. Remember old dude from 2019, nice clean nigga did me dirtier than laundry.
Remember back when I called Doechii, and I quote, some random girl whose passable sample flip was ruined by a Kodak Black verse? I had a lot of people telling me that I was dismissing her too quick and that Doechii was legit, and I was like, yeah, okay, I'll believe it when I see it. Then I got Alter Ego recommended to me on YouTube one day, and I believed it. Then Denial as a River went viral, and now I see it.
I'm going through a lot.
By a lot, you mean drugs?
I wouldn't.
Drugs?
No, it's a natural plan.
No, I'm not judging.
I'm not an addict.
I'm just saying.
I don't think...
You wanna talk about it?
I mean, fuck, I like pills, I like drugs.
My, what a novel approach that Miss Chi has taken here. A hit pop song that's legitimately funny, witty, and tells a compelling story that rewards repeated listens with a deeper appreciation of the narrative she's weaving in addition to the joy of the music. Why, listening to this, you'd almost think that the point of music is to have an emotionally compelling experience framed through the unique personality lens of the artist delivering it to you, rather than just a game of dopamine whack-a-mole trying to lure the most people in possible with obvious hooks. And to be clear, this is coming from a guy who has made a living talking about how much he loves watching that game of dopamine whack-a-mole. My point is that Doechii is truly something special. She deserves the huge wave of hype she's riding right now, and I'm waiting with bated breath to see what she gifts us next. And with that, we're done with the main ranking, so it's time for the bonus round. You see, because I talk about copyrighted material, I literally make no money from ads on these videos. I am 100% reliant on you guys to support me on Patreon if you like what I'm doing here. And as one of the perks of being a patron, you get to vote on and comment on the songs we talk about in these videos in the top 20 fan rankings. So without further ado, let's see what my patrons had to say about the music of spring 2025. And remember, if you'd like to take part in the next fan ranking, you can do so for a pledge of just $2 per video on Patreon. Let's get into it.
We never met, but she's all I see at night.
Nails on a chalkboard core. This sounds like a Maroon 5 song. Honestly, outside of those vocals, John Bellion pops all the way off on production here. Shame those vocals are just so screechy. Nobody's talking about how this is just a gentrified version of Mystery Lady by Masego, but then again, that would require people to have taste and know who Masego is. There's a good song in there somewhere, but man, I'd like to fire whoever mixed these vocals. The pre-chorus especially is painful. Guess it makes sense that the way to score the longest charting K-pop track in the US is to just make it a generic radio background music track.
You gotta pop that ass till the morning come. You want shots for the girls, they don't order some.
I hate this man so much. I legitimately thought Drake wouldn't have any more hits after the beef. God, Drake, you suck. Why did you have to get one of the catchiest instrumentals of the past year for this? What rich baby daddy sounds like after SZA divorced Drake. The last thing anyone needs is the insufferable weirdo with a heap of wrongdoings in the past and present to put on his goofy guy act. Considering that this is near universally people's favorite track off the album, and that this is what it sounds like, I feel even more confident in my decision not to listen to the whole thing. Damn it! Drake made the first song in like 4 album cycles that I wouldn't skip if it came on. Yes, Drake, please go back to the clubs. It's much more tolerable this way. Drake comes back after a year of embarrassment and drops a song that's actually fun to listen to, where he lifts up little-known producer Elkan, who provides the vocals of some infectious and instant classic lines. Hey, keep making me dance, waving my hands, and it won't be no threat.
Breathe in, take my breath away.
no. The people yearn for Imagine Dragons. The obvious joke is to call this an Imagine Dragons gospel song because it is, but unlike Believer, it doesn't sound like getting slapped in the face with a brick, so while Ordinary doesn't do much for me, I'm aware that it could be so much worse. I wanted to put this in the med tier as a bit, but it's unfortunately too good for that. Feels like a mix of George Ezra and Benson Boone. I'm not checking the charts, but I have a gut feeling it's huge in the UK. To any UK followers, for your sake, I pray that is not the case. Society has moved past the need for this entire style of white sad boy pop.
But I think I like her, she's so fine. But I think I hate her, I'm not that evolved, I'm sorry.
Diet 2014 Taylor Swift. I don't like Taylor Swift enough for this. Nepo baby mediocrity. One of the most fun hooks to sing along to of the year. I already didn't care for this song when I first heard it, but overplay really made me hate it. She annoys me, tries so hard to be someone she's not. I'm convinced Gracie Abrams' role in the music industry is to act as a fall guy for Taylor Swift, demonstrating all the ways Taylor could be worse so she looks better in comparison.
First I go whip out the bow. No, I can't hit on no brakes. My life is out of control. I'm telling you, nobody's safe.
So, what's the appeal of this guy again? The cinematic intro hyped me up so much, only to hit me with the biggest anticlimax of the year so far. Great intro, but as soon as he starts rapping it, it turns into just white noise. I love the intro, and then it turns into a C-tier Cardi song, damn. Absolutely killer beat. Too bad there's a Playboi Carti on it. Playboi Carti is the first artist to try and do what Rihanna did intentionally. Refuse to put out an album forever, and people will gaslight themselves into thinking you're actually one of the greatest artists of all time. The difference is that Rihanna was at least competent at making music, while Playboi Carti raps by doing the world's worst Yoda impression while dying of strep throat. Referring to Carti as a genius so early on in his career will probably be as damaging to him as it's been to Kanye if this is the kind of music we keep getting. Playboi Carti's version of Dark Brandon. Yeah, I'm just gonna not. Who the hell fucks this man? Did Cardi and Traffic cop some iced out Patara earrings or something? Because I can barely tell them apart on here. This is a good thing, by the way. A choir singing Shotgun Let Me Crush is the best possible outcome for a Travis Scott Playboi Carti collab. This sounds massive, and sometimes that's all you need. Playboi Carti genuinely may be the single stupidest person to ever become a successful musician, and I do not say that with much exaggeration. Sonic Nightmare with terrible mixing. Also, there's a Playboi Carti on it. There's more structural integrity and a Jenga tower half cleared out than anything on music. If it was a minute shorter, I would have assumed this was the album intro and that it led directly into a better song. There's unfortunately only so far you can go off of vibes alone, and Carti has obviously reached the point of diminishing returns. It was nice of Toby Fox to let them use an unused B-side off the Undertale soundtrack as the beat. Carti heard people say his voice is an instrument in an orchestra and ran with it extremely hard. Unfortunately, Travis only got 6th chair in the string section. Travis now stands out more for his suspicious chart shenanigans than his actual music contributions.
Midnight in my mind's eye, drowning out the daylight. Godspeed to my enemies, I'll be asking for that call sign.
How the hell did we get to the point where Sleep Token are in the same conversation as Kendrick Lamar and Chappell Roan? I knew Sleep Token was bracing for a big impact, but I did not expect it like this and so soon. I think more people getting into these sorts of bands is nothing but great news, and I hope this incentivizes people to go out and find even more bands. My only prior exposure to Sleep Token is through a close friend who fell in love with them because of their song Vor. That friend is watching this video right now. Get flashbanged, idiot. I'm absolutely overjoyed that a prog metal song is in the Spotify top 20, and yet something about it isn't fully clicking with me and I don't know what. I think it's really cool that a song like this is big, but it's just not for me. Feels a little too skillety. It's cool that a song like this can be a hit, but I have no idea what mood I'd have to be in to properly enjoy it. I'm suddenly feeling a strong urge to make Master Chief AMVs. This is what people who hate Arcane think the Arcane soundtrack sounds like. My metal elitist brother said Sleep Token is trash and he'd rather listen to Ghost. Said Sleep Token is metal in the same way Luke Bryan is country music. Sleep Token is for people who think the best of Metallica is everything after the Black Album. I'll admit that I'm not remotely familiar with metal, but I can hear the 3 other genres this is trying to be, and I don't think Sleep Token's pulling off any of them. Coworker music. I don't know what to tell you. Sometimes a song just hits you right. If Tate McRae wants to keep doing 2000s pop throwbacks for the rest of her career, I'd be all for it, because not only I think she pulls it off excellently, but I even think her recent material is better than some of the songs they're inspired by. Anyone getting Daisy by Ashy Nico vibes from this? This feels like the 2024 remake of Ciara and Missy Elliott's 1-2 Step. It's kind of a bop. Wow, Tate McRae's voice is still grating even when she whisper sings. Why are people heralding her as the second coming of Britney? As it stands right now, she seems like yet another middling pop girl. This sounds like one of those shitty beta Yaz Lil Jon sold off like goodies and Freak a Leak. Ka-chow!
Marco, Polo, Negro run from Popo, that blue light and that rojo.
I'm now going to add Anxiety and Somebody That I Used to Know into the same playlist, so I never know which version I'm about to get when I put it on shuffle, but I'll be happy regardless. This should not work. I do not hear the original. I hear Doechii showing us that even from the very beginning she knew her shit. Feels like a full circle moment. The way the beat and instrumentals move the song along in a good way really helps illustrate the way Anxiety feels. More importantly though, this wouldn't be accomplished without her excellent flow and lyrics. Doechii is who modern day Nicki Minaj wishes she was. I can't tell if this song is actually mid or if I'm just mad this overshadowed Nissan Altima. Part of me wants to love this song and part of me wants to hate it. Subject matter is so relatable, yet I have never heard a song so disconnected from its sample since Latto's Big Energy. Imagine if 10 years ago, Beauty Behind the Madness era Weeknd made a song that used the entire instrumental of Nickelback's How You Remind Me. That's how the song feels to me in the context of it now being a monster hit. The more I listen to it, the stranger it gets. Let's hope its shelf life isn't short, which I can kinda see coming. I can't be the only one who finds this annoying, right? Once the novelty of the sample wore off, I stopped caring about this song. It makes me anxious. This works way better as a short TikTok clip than a whole song. The song was cool as a one-off throwaway freestyle for a series that she was filming in her bedroom, but as a studio release, too millennial core for me. I don't tend to like things that are too metaphorical, but sometimes the pendulum swings so hard the other way and you get something like this. Makes me want to vomit for a long period of time. Ugh. Sampling what, for my money, is the most recognizable song of the 2010s is going to invite extremely unfavorable comparisons that Doechii's editions don't do nearly enough to overcome. Noted Sean Fay-Wolfe of Diamond Studios fan Doechii, tired of waiting, decides to release his 2012 best list for him.
Hey, ojalá que los míos nunca se muden. Y si hoy me emborracho, pues que me ayuden.
Why yes, I am DTF Bad Bunny, thanks for asking. Should have taken more photos, a sentiment many of us feel. I think I am physically incapable of having strong feelings about a Bad Bunny song. Hearing a Bad Bunny song hit big that isn't one of his traditional bangers makes me very happy. Like the folky approach on the album, I think this has a lot of potential to grow on me if I look into it more. Honestly, I can feel the emotion in it without any clue behind the lyrics. Gotta respect music that accomplishes that. Not my favorite on the album, but it's a really good album. You'd think this is a weird one to be the hit, and then you listen to all the other popular songs off this album and they're all the weird one to be the hits. Man, this album is freaking weird, man.
Sleep so I can see you, and I hate to, it's so loud.
Growing on me. It's good when a song reminds me of Cecilia by Simon and Garfunkel. The combination of Perez's contralto voice, the acoustic guitar, the sax embellishments, and some of the most intimate lyrics in recent memory is something to behold. It's fine, but at a time when other indie music is the most interesting it's been in years, this isn't all that special, IMO. Took me a while to fall in love with this one, but god damn it is good once you do. The sea shanty era never truly ends, does it?
Ain't no country boy quitter. I get the job done. I get the job.
What? How do you do, fellow cowgirls? It's a bit on the nose, but doing a lesbian country song is very funny and deserves respect. Man, this Chappell Roan song sure does exist, doesn't it?
Hi, Billy Mays here for gay sex.
All the tops, please rise for the national anthem. As it turns out, I dislike country but gay just as much as regular country. Hard pass, not her best. Pink cowboy hat core. It's kind of funny watching right-wing women using this on TikTok not knowing how gay it is. Truly a top-notch effort from a top-tier artist destined to top the charts. Chappell Roan is on top of the world, and at the mountaintop is where she shall stay. Finally, a country song that respects women. Pretty solid, but I don't see myself coming back to it very often. Pop country had a decent run last year, but Chappell Roan trying it instead of giving us more of a taste of her unique palette now that she's on top of the world just makes me done with this trend.
Like a poem said by a lady in red, you hear the last few words of your life.
When the Gaga chorus is gibberish, you know you're in for a classic. Just when you thought it was safe, another abracadabra comes along. This is the best one of the three, followed by Dua Lipa, and then Eminem down at the bottom of the mineshaft. The most I've enjoyed a Lady Gaga song in a while. Basically, if 80% of Chromatica was supposed to sound like Brat. Maybe I'm old and out of touch, but I loved Gaga in 2010, and her trying to recapture that magic feels weird. I do like this, it's missing something though. Am I crazy? Slap me with a trout.
Wherever you go, that's where I'll follow. Nobody's promised tomorrow.
Cannot get over how Gaga slapped this on her album just for streaming numbers. Straight up participation trophy behavior. Hope you feel validated by your unearned accolade, Gaga. Gaga and Bruno over-singing some of the most cliche lyrics of any pop song in the last year. The production is excruciatingly slow and tedious, and the song on whole is lacking in sincerity for me. When the hell has a year's piece de resistance been an industry-manufactured duet between two of the largest artists of the previous decade? A pleasant listen. Enjoyed it. This probably becoming Lady Gaga's biggest hit is so depressing. This 100% feels like a Silk Silk Sonic B-side. We're getting out of gambling debt with this one. Bruno Mars is just collecting timeless classics at this point as a side hustle. Sometimes I wonder if Bruno Mars the person actually exists outside of the mega hit he has every few years, because he's both a non-presence in pop discourse when he's not particularly relevant in the music scene, but you know that every time he comes back with a new song, it will be getting tons of streams. This is possibly the most standard song on the charts right now, but honestly, if there's any time for a boringly great song to be massive, right now is definitely one of those times. A basic idea executed perfectly is still perfect. No notes. Instead of reheated nachos, she reheated chicken soup. Classic, comforting, unchallenging, but effective. 7 years later, this song is still iconic. I'll say this, the fact that this now 7-year-old song actually managed to have a second run after the Super Bowl and that it's still as great as I remember it is quite telling how fucking great it is. 4 minutes of letting the instrumentation wash over me. Haven't heard a miss from SZA. She's 100 out of 100. Hip-hop has changed so much since this song came out, it's kind of funny. Some collabs are just magical every time.
This world, concrete flowers grow. Heartache, she only doing what she knows.
In a year like 2025, 3 minutes of a chill getaway with Kendrick and SZA might be the thing I needed the most of all. I just want to say how amazing it is seeing SZA thriving. Huge fan of that. Glad Kendrick made a tribute to one of the greatest R&B singers of all time. That is a buttery smooth vibe. I keep comparing this one to Gloria though. Glad it got to #1 on Billboard at the most hilarious time to do so, but Kendrick kinda sound bored out of his mind on this song. Not my favorite song from GNX by any stretch, but any excuse to have a Kendrick Lamar #1 is good by me.
I need a cleanse, need a detox, but we ain't got time to stop. The charts need us.
Doechii is in a league of her own at the moment. You gotta have a real knack for hooks for your star turn to not have a chorus. A song about Doechii's troubles and inner turmoil framed as a kitsch 80s sitcom knockoff? Yes, please. Funniest shit I've ever seen. I've never felt so excited to see what else an artist does more than with Doechii, and Denial as a River is what cemented that feeling. Man, is she entertaining. I'm glad someone finally made a song that just goes, fuck TikTok, the effects it's had on the music world fucking suck. And then that song became a massive TikTok hit.
And your homeboy needs subpoena. That predator moving flocks. That name gotta be registered and placed on neighborhood watch.
You said best, Sean. When we judge pop music, we judge the music, but also the pop. As music, this is a 4. As a popular thing, the story of this eclipses anything from last year by a fucking mile. Not like Us becoming Kendrick's first UK #1 a whole 9 months after it first came out because of the Super Bowl just might be one of my favorite parts of this whole saga. I'm kinda hoping this just keeps popping up and hitting #1 every few months. No reason needed. It has overstayed its welcome. Meet the Grams and Euphoria were better. Literally the exact week Party and Drake get their album bomb, this song hits #1 and beats all of them. This is too perfect. I was at a Power Rangers convention last year and one of the actors was playing this at his booth and I go, thank you for playing a song that shits on Drake, and he smiled and gave me a fist bump. One of my favorite moments ever. Yeah, he might have a presence on the Hot 100 again with Nokia, but let's make this 100% clear. This song about how Drake is a dangerous pedophile outcharted his entire album nearly a year out from release. A diss track against you becoming potentially the single most successful song of all time is the single biggest L anyone has taken in the entire history of music, and maybe humanity in general.
Niggas acting bad, but somebody gotta do it. Got my foot up on the gas, but somebody gotta do it.
Legitimately better than Not Like Us. While I failed to click with Not Like Us, this is pure gold. Memorable lines all over the place. This makes me want to suplex my TV. This is Mother Teresa levels of giving them what they asked for. This might have the simplest appeal of any song in Kendrick's discography. The revolution will be televised. After the Super Bowl, my dad just randomly started saying mustard, because apparently that's just the funniest shit in existence. It says a lot that this song is still as good as it is to me in spite of that avalanche of cringe I now associate with it. Glad to see this song getting bigger in 2025. I'd call her queen, but Chapel is 100% for the abolition of the monarchy. Solid introduction to Miss Chapel Roan, and a certified sign of things to come for her. I shot a wedding not too long ago, and this song came on and everyone went wild. It's so perfect and right, and the naivety of it all is just blissful. This song becoming bigger and bigger at around the same time it kept getting better for me has got to be one of the best things to occur in pop music this year so far. This song now finally being a hit on the same level as Good Luck Babe and Hot to Go is proof to me that we aren't in the absolute darkest timeline yet. I've been super late to the party on Chapel Roan, but Pink Pony Club is one of the best songs ever written. Also a very fitting protest song for the time, even if that's not her intent. The reality of life is that it will never be able to thrive if you follow your authority figures by the book. Sometimes you just gotta be gay and do crimes as you see, and you'll find your place in this world. I would give it a 6 out of 5 if I could. This is one of the best songs I've ever heard. It's helped me through a lot right now, because if music this good can get this popular with these times, maybe we'll find a way to get through this decade after all. And with that, we're all set. Please like, subscribe, and leave comments. And again, please consider supporting me on Patreon so I can afford to keep making these completely unmonetizable videos. Or if you want your Patron review to appear in the next episode of this series, every person who submits is guaranteed to get at least one of their reviews read out loud. I'm Sean Fay-Wolfe of Diamond X Studios. Enjoy some song recommendations from my top patrons in the outro, and until next time, take care of yourselves.
That shit so can't stand to wake up. I know we fuck, I know we. I'm in love with you. Hey, 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 hey. Down the road. Down the road. Never in my bag, I'm in that pocket. Certain I've got toxins causing my brain to rot and my life to be so exhausting. Meanwhile, I turn my throat to an exhaust pipe.
I could forgive her if I could kill my pride. I've not the stomach